Hey everybody, I made it. I hope you can hear me. So, I'm having a few technical difficulties this morning, and I'm not sure why. I think maybe our streaming platform is a little glitchy. So, give me a thumbs up, folks, if you can hear me. Okay, great. Um, Sorry about that. I was a little uh you know, like I always say on the live broadcasts, we can't go back, and going live is not for the faint of heart. So, shoo, but I can do it. You know, I'm not afraid. I see so many of you are jumping on there. Now I've got my earrings. So many of you are jumping on from all over the world. I love how we are an international community of friends and beaters from all over. It's great to have all of you all here. You know, we're counting down to the holidays and, you know, and towards the end of the year. And I always like to make some special jewelry this time of year. And I have also, since it's the new year, I don't know if you guys do this, if you folks do this as well, but I am in this clean out mode where it's the new year. I need some new ideas. This week we're having our 2023 planning meeting, all this stuff, right? So I'm cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. So this morning, as I was doing a whirlwind through my demo space because it's not good, um, it's got a lot of projects. I found these earrings and I thought, this is perfect. And I had some other ideas, but I thought, you know what? These are so holiday. So I rummaged through everything that I had here, and we're going to make an amazing pair of earrings today. So before I get to that part, let me, after I say again, a big shout out, more of you are jumping on. I guess that so many of you want to learn about earrings, which is great. We're going to do some wire wrapping, we're going to do some crimping, we're going to do it all. But before we get to there, let me tell you that, of course, you can find us on all of our social at beadshop.com on Instagram, the Bead Table on Facebook, and of course, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button over on YouTube. We'd love to have you be a part of our YouTube community over there. And of course, you can find all of the product that I'm working with today right over on our website at beadshop.com. Every purchase that you, our friends, make um, on Beadshop helps us continue to bring all of this free education to you. We've been doing it for 6 years. We're in our 7th year of broadcasting, and we wouldn't be able to do it without the support of all of you wonderful friends and viewers out there. So let me go ahead and add my other camera. This was the culprit today. And Janice, there's no landing page for this. Janice is looking for the landing page. This is brand new. And I'm going to talk to you about this earring. Let me take one off and I'll tell you. This earring is probably 20 years old at least. So let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to build the landing page for this afterwards because I'm going to talk to you about. It has a lot of technique in it that I'm going to share with you. The end of the year, it's kind of also about, reflecting over what you did throughout the year and, some of your favorite projects and stuff. And I have not had enough projects with stringing, like with soft flex, right? Here at Beadshop, we love our soft flex, our nylon coated wire beading material, right? And so I want to remedy that and do some soft flex stringing for you in the new year. And this is a good kickoff to that. Now, soft flex, this earring, and you can see it here. Here we are right here. You can see, yeah, let me get both of them. Let me make a nice little picture here for you all. Let me move all of this. And let me talk to you a little bit about these earrings. We're going to be launching very soon some of our crimp tubes in sterling silver and in gold fill. Okay. And these are something that we used to carry, something we've carried in our brick and mortar, but something we haven't carried um, for a while. We do have some soft flex earrings that I've made previously, but they're a little different. Um, this is on soft flex, this base, and then I've done some wire wrapping. I have some briolets here. You can see I've got some crimp covers, all of this. So we're launching some really beautiful there we go. Let me get a little closer. Some really beautiful, what we call kind of semi-precious findings, like in the sterling and in the gold fill. And I think you folks are really going to love working with all of those. Um, they really level up your projects, I think. So in the coming weeks and months, like this Friday, Janice and I are going to be talking about, we're launching a whole bunch of new pearls that are coming down the pike. We're adding some new, what do I want to say? Elevated clasps. They have a lot of visual appeal. We've got some gold fill and some sterling. Janice and I are going to be playing with um, some pearls on Friday. We've got a big pearl launch. Let me come over here and grab these. I've got so many things. That's what happens when I clean. I like unearth a whole bunch of stuff, and my ideas are just running faster than I can grab onto them. But I'll show you this stuff at the end there. But let's get back to this. So, what's everybody saying? What music they're hearing? It's funny. I guess I missed um, I guess I missed some chat there. I'm gonna have to go back through and you folks are just in the chat are always so fun. I love it. Um, okay, so let's get started here and talk about how you jump in to design a piece like this. So I grabbed some smaller ear wires or thinner gauge, 1.5-inch head pins. We're also launching some ear wires and head pins in sterling silver and gold filled, also in fine gauge, 24 and 26 gauge. So if you're making an earring that's really, what do I want to say? I keep using the word elevated, so I guess I'll use that word again, elevated. You'll have some really nice findings to work with. So you're going to see those come out shortly as well. I'm going to use these coppery colored ones that we love. We have, I'm scrolling down here. Yeah, you folks are on fire. There we go. Okay, so let me get these out. And I've also grabbed, that's these right here. I've also grabbed these lever back, these vintagey lever backs that I love. Okay. And the lever backs kind of add kind of a vintagey vibe to them. Oh, I'm sorry, it's blurry. Let me see if I can get, maybe that's a little bit better. Sorry about that, folks. Let me See if I can remedy that. There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. I'm sorry. Again, I think that my connection today on our streaming platform is a little off. So I'm sorry about that. So hang in there with me. Hopefully on the replay, it may be a little bit clearer. So the lever backs, I've got these here. The ones that I used on these earrings, these are just the regular hook ear wires, but I like a lever back for this as well. Um, so I'm going to cut a piece, two pieces, I guess, of the soft flex wire. And I'm going to use the fine gauge, the point 014. And I'm going to cut, I don't know, let me get my trusty tape measure here. Probably, oh, maybe about 7 inches or so, maybe about that. Because what I'm making here are actually tiny little necklaces, right, that I'm going to wear on my ears. That's what I want you to think about when you're making these. Now, this is a great stash dive project. You can use up some of those findings that you've been collecting from Beadshop. What you can also do is it's a good time to stock up on basic findings and things for your bead box so that when inspiration hits, like it hit me this morning, you've got a lot of stuff to work with. And I'm going to show you a few more essentials as well that I found, of course, when I was cleaning, right? So, they'll be good for you to use. I found a strand of pearls. We've got wonderful freshwater pearls. These are some that we carry already. We've got a whole bunch that we're going to be launching. You can see in this earring, I've got a focal in the center right here. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 drops per side. So I'm going to put out, maybe I'm going to do, because these pearls are a little bit larger, maybe I'll do 3. Okay, I don't know. And then maybe I'll do this one in the center, and then maybe I'll add something that's a little fancy. Let's see what I run across. Okay, so there's this. Now, I also want to use, you can see in this earring, I used a daisy spacer. You see that right there? I love a daisy spacer. So I'm going to put out, I've got some in copper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one for the middle. Okay. Then I grabbed the November monthly mix because it was sitting here and I liked the looks of it. I needed some smallish beads. And I like the colors that we've got in here. You could use some 4mm beads, some 5mm beads, for down here at the bottom. You could use some 3mm to string, whatever floats your boat, whatever you like on that. I also have these 5mm, 3x5mm rondelles that I love. So I'm going to do a few of those. Okay. So I'm going to start, when I don't know where to start, I start with the drops. And this is true with any earring I make, right? Even if it's just what we call 3 beads on a pin, which is 3 beads on a head pin. Simple, fast earring. One of the things when I was teaching this earring class a lot at Beadshop and at my own store. Um, if at first your earring doesn't succeed, one of the tricks that I do is I turn the piece upside down, or the stack that I'm making upside down. So I'm going to put these 3 beads on a pin just here. Okay. And let me put the next set of beads on a pin going the opposite way. And I can compare to see what I like there. And can you see how I have a pearl at the bottom on one and a 3mm on the bottom on the other? Okay. I actually kind of like the juxtaposition of those, so I might keep them. I don't know. Let me make another one. Let's take a look at the reference of this one that I made. You can see that I have 1, 2, 3 drops that are all the same, and then I've got a 4th drop that's shorter, because these earrings, when they curve, if the bead is too, or the stack is too long as it gets higher up on the earring, it's going to sit kind of funny. The size mix, I think Leslie asked about the sizes of the beads in the mix for November. It's a 6/0, which are these, and an 8/0, which are these. Okay, so I'm going to add another pearl up here, and I'm going to mimic that short stack that I did there. And I'm going to put on the pearl, and I'm going to put on this galvanized copper here. Okay. I also like the look, and I'm doing this in real time, folks. I have not, what a surprise. I have not uh, pre-planned this out. And I'm sorry if we're having a little bit of focusing issues today, everybody. I think that it is my connection today. I was having a little bit of trouble earlier, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it'll be real clear on the replay. I know that can be frustrating, so I'm sorry. One of the hazards of going live. But thank you for hanging in there with me. We appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to do this one here. So I've got 4 right here, and let's do the 4 over on this side here. And, you know, for the center, I think what I want to do is I want to do maybe a briolette. You know, if you've been watching Dria's Instagram, you've been seeing that she's been making some really incredible, beautiful brick stitch earrings that I had to buy myself a pair of. She really, that's her jam. They look gorgeous. So you may also want to stock up on some briolettes. A briolette really, again, elevates this earring. And I'm thinking that it is perfect for the holidays. I guess there are many holidays coming up. Here's the center. So I'm just mirroring what I've got on the other side. Okay, and one of those at the top. Now, these little drops that I'm doing here, I want to make these drops really close to the earring. So I'm not going to wire wrap these, okay? But I am going to make a loop that's really small, because I don't want a lot of extra length when they're hanging, and a smaller loop when I do that on these drops. It's actually going to be more more secure, sturdier. Janice and I were having a conversation. She has a really beautiful, whoops, that hopped over, a really beautiful series of wrap bracelets that she's making that we're going to do a project on. And we were talking jump rings yesterday and about how to get the jump rings to really stay. And, it's so we're going to talk about that actually during that broadcast. But the smaller, in general, the smaller you make the loop on a earring like this, the more it's going to stay put. And I'll show you that when I make these loops. So we've got these ready to go. Okay. And so when we've got this, let me get this second one out of here. Let's examine this earring some more and see what I've done. Again, I made this earring. This is out of personal jewelry. Or personal beads. I probably made this back in the day. I think this was Beadshop times. So this earring is probably 20 years old. Probably, I'm guessing. So we've got some kind of drop that goes here. There's a bar that goes across here. We've got a drop and we've got some other drops going on here. So I think what I'm going to do is let's utilize our mix. Okay. And let me just see, I just need 2 beads. And I like the way that these little copper friends look down there. And maybe I want to emulate, no, I want it to be darker. That's not the right bead. Maybe I want this kind of red AB. I think that's what I want. Stay over there, please. And this one. And let me do 2 more. That one. That's 6/0. And this one. That'll go on this side. And 1 more. Okay. Let me get these ear wires out of the way. It's not their turn. It's not your time yet. Okay. That one, and that one. Now I'm still missing something in the middle, and I think that I want to repeat that pearl. A great place to find Jaria's earrings, if you go right to her Instagram, she's also posted some on the Beadshop Instagram as well. You can see those over there. I will, we're going to do a project with her earrings. We've been kind of tossing around some color ideas. So you'll see some of those soon. I'm looking for some more daisy spacers as I rustle around here. Can you tell I'm rustling around? This is definitely a few shows ago. You heard me tell the story of doing live or doing taped broadcasts with my buddy Katie Hacker at Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. I know you've seen some of those programs. And, that program, when we do that, there is no going back. You've got to power through. So here, the vibe with me going live is a little more laid back, shall we say, especially today. Let me get, I'm just going to go for it. These pearls we're launching soon, right? I'm going to use one of these pearls. These, I think the pearls launch on Thursday. So I'm going to jump the gun a little bit. These are going to come out tomorrow. And our pearls are limited for sure. And look, it's the perfect pearl. for this. There is one daisy left in the bag, but I found another. I found another bag. I feel like these are missing a daisy spacer, right? Don't you think they are? Yeah. See the difference? Can you see how, I'm going to get the camera a little bit closer. Let me see if I can focus that. The daisy spacers make a difference between, I think, especially when you're making a little earring. It just gives a little bit of a pause for your eye. Let me hold it up. Maybe that's better. Come on, focus for me. There we go. No, that's so not in focus. There we go. You can see that there. Okay. So the pearls here, these are a pinkish kind of a color. The shell pink, very light, very subtle. It doesn't show as well on camera as they do here in real life. Hopefully the photos, I'm sure the photos that we'll have online will capture them even more. To take a look at all of our new things that we constantly release on Beadshop, if you just go to the new arrivals section of beadshop.com, that's the best way to see what's brand new. Okay, so here's these. I've got these. All right, and so now let's add. I'm going to add this pearl at the bottom, this pink one. And I'll give you a sneak peek. There's a few things I want to sneak peek for you. And then Janice and I will be back on Friday talking about pearls. We've got some new silk colors that are launching. So there you go. That's shaping up, right? And then up here at the top, let me move these over. I've got another drop. Can you see that there? So let's make another drop. Let's repeat this pearl. Let's put that in and let's repeat that pearl up there. Okay, let's do that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just baking it, right? So let's do this. I think I want the silver, the smaller pearl at the bottom. I'm going to throw in a daisy. You know what I did here at the top one, and this might be a little bit long. I did add one of those copper. So let's put a copper one. Let's do this, and then let's do this. Hopefully this isn't too long. It might be, but I can adjust it if I need to. Okay, so here's this. Here's kind of the bones of the dangles. All right, and let me make sure. I don't know now this piece of soft flex is feeling short to me, but let me just make sure. You know, I said I cut 7 inches. In my head, I said, you know what? I should cut 10 inches of soft flex. So I'm going to amend that. And I'm going to say, let's go with a little bit more. I know better. I don't want to be picking little tiny ends of soft flex to try and crimp this closed. That won't be any fun. So I'm going to cut 10 inches here. Doesn't that look better? I think it does. Okay, so now let me get to stringing the little necklace portion of this piece. Now this would also make a great necklace, right? I mean, you would just make it longer instead of a shorter piece for a necklace, right? But it's exactly the same. Let me get those little short pieces out of the way. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so what I need to do next is I need to close all of these up because I'm going to string them on as I make the earring. Janice just asked me if I'm using the 0.014 soft flex, and that is correct. I am. I'm also going to go into production line mode here. And this is exactly how I do it when I'm making these earrings. So see how I'm coming in and I'm doing all of the steps. I'm doing these right angle bends See how I get my thumbnail right up against that bead, push that head pin down, and it creates a nice tight bend at the top of the bead. I am not wire wrapping, I'm looping. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I do this kind of production line so that I'm repeating each step. And I know already that's going to be too long. Let me take that off. This is better. And bend. Okay. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut all of these before I make the loop. Now this is important. I need to get all of these cuts about the same length here because I'm going to make a loop that's pretty small. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to cut. Let me measure that for you. This is about, can you see that? It's about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. I'm going to get my round nose plier and I'm going to go right at the tip of that round nose and see how I'm walking that wire through the tip of my plier so I've got a nice round loop there. Kind of hard to see. Let me back it with my hand. There we go. Okay. Now I can also, if I need to straighten it out, I can do that with my chain nose. Now, one of the tricks that I do here is I'll take this piece of wire that I've cut away and I'm going to bring it to my other dangle that's the same and use that to measure. And can you see how those are the two of the same size there? Okay. We have these steps, folks, in our learning area on Beadshop. We have all of these in our skill builders. And in our skill builders, we've got the how to wire wrap a loop, how to make a regular loop, all kinds of wire tricks and all that stuff. So if you feel like you need a refresher, oops, I knew that little one was going to come off. You can go there and check it out. I kind of can visually know how long these are going to be, so I'm not going to use that wire to measure, but I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so here are these. These are ready to go. So let me get my round nose plier, and I'm just going to come in all the way at the end of that wire, right? So I get a nice round loop. And again, I'm going to go at Kate speed here. We're going to go a little bit faster because I've got a lot of loops to make. But essentially, I'm right-handed, so I'm holding the plier with my right hand. And I'm putting a little bit of pressure here. See how my loop or my piece here is, my thumb is pushed against the piece and it's creating a little bit of tension. That helps me keep everything nice and straight. Okay. And again, folks, I'm sorry that if things are a little bit blurry. Everything is connected well on this end, but I was having a little bit of trouble with our streaming platform connecting, so it may have to do with that. So I apologize. They're saying that the stream is a little bit clearer on Facebook, which is good to know. And also, I hope on replay we'll have a pretty clear view. So again, thank you for sticking with me with this. I'm going to come in, clip, and again, it's about 1/4 of an inch that I'm leaving. For this head pin, this is a 24 gauge that I'm using. So a nice small loop like this one will give me, it's stronger. There's not a lot of air in that loop that can get pulled, whoops, that can get pulled open, okay, when the drop goes on the earring. Let me go ahead and just keep looping. Some of you may remember back in peak pandemic when we were all trying to figure out what was going on in this crazy world. I did that week of bead Olympics, remember? And I timed myself how many loops I could do in 5 minutes. Um, they're up. I think there's a playlist that's on our YouTube channel. It was kind of fun. It's kind of a fun challenge to give yourself to really practice loops over and over and over. It'll help to work that muscle memory. Ooh, that's a terrible loop. Let me pull that back and close it up. There we go. All right. So there are all of my loops. Okay. So let's go to putting these on. So I'm going to start with our hero here at the center, or heroine, I don't know, either one. Whoops, there's one more here. Let me do this. I'm going to start by putting this briolette on in the center because like anything, ooh, that's a little long. I knew it was. Like any centerpiece when I'm stringing a necklace, if the focal point is at the center, that's where I start. Okay, so my focal, this is where I'm going to start with my focal. So I'm going to get my 2 pieces of soft flex, slide this on, and I need something kind of small next to it. I'm going to go, oh, pardon my reach there. Let's see what these look like. And see how I hold both pieces of soft flex like this? So I string one side and then the other. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to get a daisy spacer and I'm going to string it on one side and then the other. I'm just picking from my group of seed beads here. Now I could use other beads. We have, and I need to order some in. We have really nice gold filled and sterling rounds in I think 2, 3, and 4 millimeter. They're really nice. That would be a great little bead to have in this mix. Obviously, I'm using copper, but if you're doing sterling and gold fill, that would kind of be a fun one to work with. I'm going to go ahead and use a larger bead. I'm going to use a 6/0. I'm going to put this one on, this kind of coppery one. I like the looks of that. Now, let's examine this earring because this worked, so that's what I'm going to emulate. I've got 2 beads here, so now my first drop comes in. So I've kind of mixed these up. So I want to relay these out because I did one facing one way and the other facing the other way. At least I hope that's what I did. Let me see. That goes there and that goes there, right? That's correct. This one goes there, this one goes there, and this one goes there, right? That's correct. That short one up at the top and that short one up at the top. These are going to go around the drop there. That'll go in the middle and that'll go above. Okay, so we're good. All right. So now To unify the color, I color blocked here. Can you see that? So let me pick a color maybe that's going to unify this. Maybe I'll use this pink color. It's actually a red AB, I think is what it is in the mix. If you want to see exactly what's in the monthly mix, you can go to the monthly mix pages and the recipe is there. Our monthly mixes sell out pretty quickly. They drop the first day of the month on the first always. And then they are there until they sell out. But the recipe is there. So if you want to buy all the tubes that's in the monthly mix, or you like one in particular that's in the monthly mix, you can consult the recipe. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, the beads here, you can see these beads up here. These are 4mm bicones. They're a little bigger than these 8/0s, right? So I'm going to leave these here on this side because I'm not sure that I like them. I think they're too small. I'm going to add a piece of tape to the end, and I'm just going to leave them there. And I'm going to do this side, and I'm going to change it because then I'll have something to compare it to. Okay. I really like this bead that I used here. So maybe that's the right bead. Okay. So let me just put this one on. Let me use this 6/0. 6/0 here and a drop. And a 6/0 and a drop. But this is the part where you get to put kind of your own stamp on this piece, right? Here, this one, another daisy, and then maybe this 8/0. All right, let's slide them down and let's take a look at the difference. And I'm going to curve it as it would be curved in the earring. Can you see? I can see this already. All right. That I like how this fans much more than I like how this fans. Okay. So I'm going to switch it. I'm going to take these off and repeat this. All right. I do like this kind of darker color here. So maybe I'll use that up top. I don't know. Let me put a piece of tape on the end here though, so that my little drops don't fall off. Take this off. Slide these friends off. And make the switch. There we go. Okay. One of these. I'm going quickly, so I don't want to mess up my pattern. So hopefully I'll get this right. And again, see, since I made these loops kind of small, there's not a lot of like extra loop dangling below the beads, which is good in my book. They sit kind of close up to the strand. I feel like I'm off. Let me see. This one, this one, this one, this one. Aha. This one. Where did I put that? Take off that daisy. This goes. Then this. Then the daisy. Then the 8/0. Okay. All right. Let's curve it. and take a look. That looks kind of opulent in my book, right? I think it's good. Okay. So, Janice has also showed, and I want to show this to everybody, the the um the 3 millimeter beads. They're great in with super duos and wrap bracelets. A good reminder about our lookbooks. We haven't trotted our lookbooks out in a while. We have some amazing lookbooks that our design team put together a few years ago now, actually. And they are just beautiful, and there's so much inspiration in there. So I recommend going over to our lookbooks and taking a look. So again, if we're using this one as our model, I need a little bit of space in between here to where this bar across starts. So I think I think that'll work, that rondelle, and maybe those right there. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this rondelle on, put these two A-dots on. And this is also where you can make the earring longer or shorter. You don't have to have it be this opulent. You could ditch a few of those drops, right? Let's put that on. Let's take this one off so the drops all don't end up on the floor. Ask me how I know about that one. All right, so now it's time to put the center bar on, and this one is going to drop in the center. Okay, so I've gotten some, you can do a couple of things. Let me see. Whoops. Let me give you a couple of options. I've got all my box of findings here. So let me see what I have. And then I'm going to talk to you about why I'm hesitating to use wire and why I want to use an eye pin. Here we go. Let's see if they'll fit, number one, and I think they will. Okay, so I've got my eye pins here. Yeah, and I like using painter's tape. Painter's tape is kind of low tack. I'm glad you noticed that, Janice. It doesn't look that pretty, but the low tack doesn't leave a lot of sticky residue. So painter's tape is what I use a lot when I work with metals, and I always have it. So I've started to use it with the end of my Softflex. So anyway, you can see that there. I'm using these eye pins because eye pins, the wire has been stiffened. It's half hard wire. And also, this is about a 21 gauge. I've also got some 24 gauge, our para wire that we have here. And you can see this wire is dead soft, how I can really move it around. But this head pin has been work hardened. So this center bar really is what kind of gives this earring its shape. So that's why I want to use an eye pin to make this internal structure stiffer rather than this para wire. This is 24 gauge. This is also a heavier gauge wire. You could try a 22 or a 20 gauge off the spool, might work a little bit better. But since I have these eye pins and they're already ready to go, that's what I'm going to use. I just need to make sure when I turn the loop on this pin that the loops are facing the correct way. Okay, so the width of this center bar, this is also going to determine how wide this earring's going to be. If the wire is a little bit longer here, your loop is going to be less pronounced. If you have a center bar that's a little shorter, your earring's gonna be a little bit slimmer at the bottom. It's going to be a little more of a teardrop shape. So let me measure over here. This is about 1.25 inches right here. Okay, so let me, and I've got these drops that I've got to put on. So the center bar, what haven't I used yet? I haven't used these purple ones, but I don't know that I love them. I love these pops of white here. Maybe I'll use that. Let's see. Let's see what they look like. And the holes in these seed beads sit just fine on this head pin, or on this eye pin rather. So here's this. Before I put the other ones on, I'm just going to put these here. Again, see how I'm having that little bit of trouble, how these 8/0 are a little small. So I think I'm going to switch them out for 6/0. Either that, or maybe I should just use 2. Let me try that. See what that looks like. 2 of those, 2 of these. I think I'm going to do a copper one for the center. And then let's lay it out. That I think is better, right? Yeah. So this one and this one. 2 of these. Oh, this loop isn't closed all the way. So let's fix that right now. Can you tell I'm in heavy design mode? Here we go. 2 and then 2 here. Okay, let's lay this out. I'm going to slide this up. See if I can make that sit correctly. So it's going to sit about like that, okay, which I like. I'm going to add one more 8/0 there because I feel like this 3x5mm rondelle is a little close up here. And it's also a good place to add yet another daisy spacer. So let me do that. Here and here. Whoops. Okay. Now, what I need to do with this bar, I need to make sure that there's enough room here that I don't make the loop so tight that these don't move. So I need to give myself a little bit of room, and I'm going to bend that wire. Can you see from the top view? Whoops, stay there. There's going to be a little bit of space there. Not a lot. You're not going to really see it, but it's going to be enough space so that these drops move. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to visualize I'm going to need a little more than that 1/4 inch this time. Okay, so I'm going to come in, clip. See how I held that wire so it didn't come up and hit me in the face, right? Or hit the camera or anything. Be aware, especially with these wires that have been work hardened, the wire will fly. So you want to really protect yourself from those flying wires. and I'm going to make my loop. And let's take a look. Let's examine both of these loops. Straighten everything out and see how they're about the same size. That's what we're going for. If the loops are a little different, it's okay, but you want to kind of try and get them so they match. Okay, let me be very careful. I'm going to take this side of the tape off, being careful not to pull the soft flex out from my whole line up here. That would be a sad, sad face. Now I'm going to come in and slide this on. Now this is one of the moments of truth with this earring. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this. If I do say so myself. I love it. I love it. Okay. So now we need to make the space for that drop. Okay. So let me give you some measurements just so you can see my original earring. I like a say something earring, right? Especially since my hair is short now. Even when my hair was longer, I still like to say something earring. Okay, let me measure from the top of the earring to the bottom of that drop. It's about 2.5 inches. Okay, this one here, yeah, that's what I thought. It's going to be a little closer to 2 3/4, probably, though I could make this a little tighter in here. Okay, so this side, this is about 1.5 inches here. This across, again, about 1.5 inches. This here, it's going to be about 1.25 inches here-ish. Okay, so now I need to figure out, see how I've color blocked up here? I want to color block again, I think. Oh, and look, there's my mistake. That one is copper, and that one is not. I think I like the knot, so let me very carefully so I don't pull the wire out from the other side. Take this one off. Whoops. Put this on. Put this in. Okay. Let me get all of this back. All right, there we go. Glad I caught that. I've got this white bar here. Okay, so I don't know if I want a white bar up here and up here. I think I probably want to repeat that red AB, I think. I think I want to repeat that 6/0 there. I don't know why I'm resisting the purple. I should just use it. Does it feel too light? It feels a little light. These would make nice pendants. Thank you, Lynn. I think they would. Maybe I need to add that. And some metal. And that. All right. No way to tell except to string it. A blue would look nice, Lorraine. I'm just using kind of what is sitting here. But blue I think would look great. Maybe a more robust purple might look great. Let's see what happens. This is how I do these. Again, I'll hold both ends here like this. And I'll just string both sides. I can string both sides at once if I want, or just do some and then follow it with this so I make fewer mistakes. If you've been watching me, you know this is the part where I'll make my stringing mistakes. Here, how about a daisy spacer for fun? Here. And then we're going to have to figure out how many beads we need at the top. I'm going to start with 3, 1, 2, and 3 on one side, and 1, 2, and 3 on the second side. I need a little more space there, see? All right. Um, because that needs to fit in there. So maybe I'll just keep going with these to make it easy. Because this is kind of busy. We want the eye to rest a little bit up here. So I'm guessing 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get those kind of out of the way. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The good thing about this earring is you do all the work on the first one, and then the second one beads up like in a quarter of the time because you've done all of your auditioning and designing on the first. These would also make fantastic gifts if you still have somebody on your list that you need to create for. And again, you can scale it larger or smaller, just depending. So see, I'm going to pull these together. I don't know. I feel like this is a long line of something that doesn't say anything right there. I think I need to bring that back in. I should have checked it when I strung the first one. So now is the time when I'm going to drop it. So I'm going to put this piece of tape on. I'm going to get rid of 2 because there's about 2. One of these is about 2, although it's probably a little smaller, but I'm going to put some daisy spaces around it and then put these 3 back on. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks better, right? This looks a little plain and non-opulent, right? But this, the story is going all the way up the earring, right? That's the same thing when you're stringing a necklace, right? You go to the back and you're like, oh, I'm just going to put all the same bead along the back, right? But then somehow, if it doesn't fit your storyline, it kind of looks like an afterthought, right? So you want to continue the story, whatever it is that you're stringing. That story has to make its way all the way through the piece. If that makes sense, I don't know. But that's what I think of when I string. And I think I just need, did I take off too many? No, that's right. And I'm going to put on 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. There we go. Let's retape. Let me get another piece of tape. Leslie's saying that she would stack 3 pearls together. I think that would also look great. I had these briolets here, and I just love the dash of opulence that a briolet brings. Not that the freshwater pearls don't. There we go. I think this is right. Okay. So that one little change of the bead, okay, really makes a difference, right? It really does. That was just like a long line of like a sad desert of just plain beads. But now we've kind of brought that opulence. Plus, we've also mirrored, this is the only place we've used this bead. We needed to make it make sense, right? So that's where it needs to go. Now, this is where we need to kind of size it because next, what's coming is a jump ring, brings these all together. Okay, you can see that jump ring here. So what I did was I got out my special bag of jump rings. And hopefully there's one in here that's going to work. We may go back to a plain one, but I wanted to check with my conversation yesterday with Janice. Oh, they're already out. I took them out already. We were talking about these really beautiful jump rings from Nun Design that we carry. And take a look at this twisted rope look jump ring. Right? Isn't it pretty? I think it'll work well on this. It's also a big loop. So we may need, and I probably should have left this earring, this drop unmade until I had this measurement, but I wanted all of these elements in here, so I'm just going to make it work. I think what I'm going to need to do is drop one more bead, not drop, but add one more bead per side so this earring has a little more of space to drop is what I'm trying to say. I fumbled that one completely, but you'll see. So let me go ahead and pull out again with the daisy spacers, right? If you don't have daisies in your bead, like your tried and true bead box, I don't know what you're waiting for, right? You need to grab some. They're so handy. I did this off screen, which was poor of me. Let me show you. Here's the rope jump ring. And in order to kind of work harden this a bit, I'm going to move it back and forth, which is going to work harden the joint on this side of the jump ring. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with my bent chain and my straight chain, and I'm going to pull or push actually those ends together. And I'm also going to give it a little, just a little hug. Turn it and hug it with my flat nose. Anytime the metal of this flat nose plier comes together, it's actually work hardening this piece. Okay. You could also use a piece of your chain, right? If you have a soldered link, you could use a soldered link from a chain. We have soldered jump rings that you could use, but this works, in my opinion, really, really well. Okay. Now, let's take a look at how this is put together. Oh, I didn't even notice I did this. See here with this drop, see what I did? I wire wrapped this actually, and I had no idea this was here. I made a tiny little S finding on this piece to give it a little more swing. I'm not going to do that with this, but it's there. I have no idea, actually, now that I'm looking at this a little more forensically. But here on the sides, you can see I came up, I've gone through a crimp tube, and then I put a crimp cover on the top. So it's indeed like a little necklace, okay? Here and here, and that's the clasp. All right. So I'm going to come in and just crimp as if this were the clasp. So I haven't crimped in a while. So if I make a big old mess of this, you're going to have to give me a little leeway, if you would. But let me get some crimp covers. Let me get some crimp tubes. I've got some crimp covers that are the antique copper. So it doesn't really matter what color crimp tube you use because that's going to be covered. Okay. So I'm just going to go at this as if it were a necklace. Can you tell I'm talking myself up to it? Because again, I haven't crimped in a while, so I don't know why I'm not nervous about it, but we're just going to go for it, right? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's put on our crimp tube. That crimp tube isn't the best. Sometimes you have to vet them, right? You have to make sure they're good. There's a good one. I'm going to go through my loop, back through my crimp. Now on this side, it doesn't matter, right? We can take up all of this slack later. So I'm not stressing. I haven't put a crimp cover or anything on this. I'm just going to make my loop fairly small. You're not going to see a lot of the soft flex here, but I really bring it up so there's still movement, but it's pretty tight. I know I'm pretty far away. Okay. The 6mm white bead. Let me see. Did I screw up in the pattern? Oh, this one? Yeah, I'm going to leave it for now. I can see what you are saying. It looks a little like squared off maybe there, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to come in with my crimping tool, crimp it flat. This is another one of our skill builders that we have. So I'm not going to detail the crimping too much, but I'll crimp and then I'll fold. And then I'll, way out of screen. Sorry about that. That's like my number one. Well, that's not very pretty. We'll go down there. When I watch YouTube tutorials and stuff, I'm always yelling at the screen, stay in screen, stay in screen. So I'm sorry about that. I'm guilty too. So see how I've crimped it there, and this is facing the correct way. All right, so I'm going to check this one more time to make sure when I add that to the loop, that's going to sit just fine. Okay, so, okay, let's do the other side. Before I do the other side, though, this is where, I don't know, maybe I don't need a crimp cover. I don't know. See how this tapers right here? And if I used one of these crimp covers, I don't know, maybe it would call too much attention to it. Let me just put one over it without closing it and see what it looks like. Just the crimp kind of makes it fade into the background a little. Come on. But I'll see. No, it actually looks better with the crimp cover. Okay, that's it. Okay. So here's this. I'm just going to close it. Okay, like, whoops. Like that. Now, when we use a crimp cover, you've seen me do this with necklaces. We need to leave just a hair of space here because the crimp cover does take up room. So we don't want to crimp so tightly that this crimp cover takes up the excess slack in your piece and makes this whole rigmarole too stiff. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to come in, put our crimp cover, put our crimp on, go through the loop as if it were a clasp. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road, folks, right? This side has to be exactly right. So let's tighten it up. Everybody breathe, breathe with me. And I can feel that this all has movement. Okay, the earring's not too stiff. All right, so let's go ahead and crimp. I'm going to come in with my Xuron crimping plier. These are little dots. When we first debuted this plier, we used some nail polish so we could see which one was the crimper, which one was for the 3mm, and which one was for the 2mm. So if you get confused or you need those visual cues, you can do that with the colored nail polish. So you aim for the dot. When you crimp, we'll come in and we'll give it just a little hug. See, with the tip of that crimping plier to make sure it's closed. Now, I'm going to come in and clip that away. Now, I still have, see here when I pull this back, how I've got space there, right there. That's going to give me enough space to put my crimp cover around so it's not too tight. And that, my friends, is why I was having a little bit of fits, but it all came out just fine. Now, I want to make sure that the opening, though, of my earring, I can see the opening there. I want to move this down just a bit so it's not right by the opening. This loop, I did it nice and tight. So let me move it just a touch. Bear with me here. If I can just finagle that. I need to get it into my focus. Sorry, I've taken it out of the frame. Bear with me. I know it's my pet peeve too. But I just couldn't see it. There we go. That's right. And I just want to close this up. Okay. There we go. So there's a small space there, and I'm going to add my ear wire there. Again, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and open this drop. Let me get the right tool for it. Lift, put my drop on. Maybe lift it just a touch more. Grab that. Slide it in. Close it up. Make sure it's closed. And again, the loop isn't giant, but it's large enough that there's movement here. Okay. I can also see, that's why I added, remember when I showed this? That's why I added this little piece I made, right? So, here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off because it doesn't sit right. I thought I could get away with it, but it doesn't. So I'm going to use, I think I'm just going to use a small jump ring. Let me grab my jump rings. I've got a box of them here. You can hear me rustling around. Let me grab one. Oh, I'm finding more daisy spacers. What I like is, oh, this is the wrong color, but I'll change it out later because it's right here. This is our smaller oval jump ring. This is actually antique brass and I want antique copper, but I don't want to take the time to find the antique copper this very moment, but I'll trade it out. The oval jump ring is such a helpful finding to have because in something like this, when it hangs in the middle, the opening on this ring is going to hang towards the side, right? Not at the bottom. So it'll be a much more sturdy connection rather than that split falling to the bottom. Let's see what this looks like. That's better. There we go. And that has movement now. Much better. Okay. Do I feel, let me hold it up. See how I want, and I might, we'll see what I come up with, but see how this triangle is kind of big right there. Okay. And I feel like this is a little crowded. This drop needs to be a lot closer down there. Okay, so maybe I'm going to take this off, but I'm leaving the oval jump ring on, okay, as kind of my placeholder. I think what I'm going to do, let me get another one of these eye pins. I don't know why I'm fighting making one of those little S things because the S, well, then let me just make it. That's why I made it. I'm going to use this loop. I'm going to straighten out that ring or that wire. These I want to be the same length. I make these a lot when I do wire work. This little figure eight tag is what I like to call them. Let me raise the camera up just a little, give myself a little bit more room here. There we go. Let me flatten this down and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so see how I've made that little figure eight? Okay. I could also turn that upside down, and I think that's a pretty good idea, Gwenda. So let me take that off. This is the finessing part, right? And you know if it's not right. So I'm going to do that, do that, do this. It feels like it wants to taper up. I think that's better, even though it mirrors this, but I think that's okay, actually. Bend, clip, loop it round. You could also use several jump rings. It doesn't have to be this little figure eight, but I thought I'd show you. So that goes one way. Then this oval, I don't need this oval, which is just as well because it's the wrong finish. Let me see if I can open it up. Take it off. Open this one. put it on and close it up. A million times better. A million. Okay, let me focus a little bit. That my table's a mess. There we go. Now I just need the ear wire. So here's this guy. I'm going to see the loop on these? The loop does open. So you need to be kind of careful. And I could use an ear wire. Maybe that's the wrong ear wire. Let me see what I've got here as I rustle around. Maybe that lever back is wrong. Because see that loop, it's a little small. I know I've got an ear wire here somewhere. Just keep looking at that pretty earring, and I'm gonna rustle around back here. Okay, no, that's not what I want. It'll come to me. Give me a moment here. I like using those lever backs. I use them a lot. But the loop on it might be just a touch too small. What I want, I'll tell you what I want, and I probably don't have it here, is our niobium ear wire with the loop, with the with the copper ball. That's what I want. This is the challenge of not being in an office anymore and having all of our product remote. Can you hear me rustle? Rustle, rustle. Well, I can't believe I don't have any. I know what I'm adding to my next order. All the ear wires. Well, on the finished product, I will grab the exact right ear wire, but essentially what you are going to do, and I'll attach this one, but it's not the right one. Let me just have one more desperate look in my box of findings. No, it's not here. Oh well, okay. Let me show you on this one anyway, okay? Oh, Janice already said the copper niobium. Yes, exactly. This one's a gold-filled one. I'm just going to take this off and I'm going to see if this works. But I'm going to use the copper niobium for this. That's going to be the exact right one. But I'm going to open this up. Whoops. Being very careful. It may or may not fit. But see, you can open up that loop. You can't open them a lot, like back and forth and back and forth, or else the loop will break off. But one opening, and yeah, see that actually, it's a little tight. It's not the right one, but at least I've gotten an ear wire on there. But it needs our copper niobium ear wire, which is what I'm gonna put on for the project page. Okay, so there it is. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to put it on in just a second because, oh my gosh, I've gone way over today. I've not even been looking at the time. I want to show you really quickly some of the things we're going to be working on Friday, Janice and I. We've got some brand new clasps that have um, uh, magnets, and they're super strong. Can you see that? Look at how beautiful they are. We're going to talk about these. We've got them in some different colors, this black and gold, the black and silver. These are all launching. They all stick together because they're magnetic. We've got these acrylic clasps in this dark purpley blue, in this kind of lighter purple, and this kind of olive green, and the pearls that we're launching. And you'll see these. Check your newsletters. Janice and I are going to be working with these on Friday. I'm getting them all together. Can you hear me rustle? Whoops. I just threw some on the floor. There we go. These are all coming. And I really love, like, look at that gold with this. And we've got a new color of silk that's also launching. And that's what I'm going to use for this one. Oh, the silk is across the room. You're just going to have to wait and see the new color. It's my new favorite color to use, silk-wise, but you'll have to wait for the show to see that. Here's a red one, too. Look at that. So pretty. And these acrylic clasps, they're super sturdy and strong. Look at how great this black and gold. They look really fun. So that's what's coming up on Friday. These are kind of limited. The pearls are definitely limited. So if you love the pearls, make sure and watch for our newsletter, okay? Because you can jump in and grab those. Let me put this earring on so you can see it. Is that the right? Maybe I want to do it in this ear that I don't have my microphone in. So there we go. Let me get rid of this tape measure. So you can see it's definitely a say something earring. I'm going to change out that ear wire, but I'm pretty pleased with it. So you'll see the project page, but it's pretty. As you can see, it's a pretty easy walk down earring lane. You're just making a necklace, right? A little necklace for your ears. That's it. I love it too. I'm so glad. Yeah, I'll complete the other one. I'll make it all happen, and then we'll put them on the website. So that's it. Woo! Another live broadcast in the books. So just to remind all of you all, you can find all of our info on our website at beadshop.com. You can also follow us on our Instagram at beadshop.com. Join us over at the Bead Table, our wonderful Facebook group, and you can hit that like, subscribe, and notification button right over on YouTube so you never miss one of our broadcasts. And of course, you can find all of the product that we've used in our project today over on our website at beadshop.com. Don't forget to check our new arrivals page as well as our newsletters, because that is the best place to find all of our new drops that we share new product with you almost every week. So that's it for me today, and my single earring. My second earring will be back, though I wore one long earring in high school a lot, and I kind of dig the look. Janice and I will be back on Friday. We're going to talk pearl knotting. We're launching a bunch of new stuff that's going to really elevate your pearl knotting game, those new pearls, the new clasps, all of that. We're going to have a great pearl knot chat on Friday. Thank you again, all of you, for joining us today. We really appreciate your support, your comments, your shares, all of that. It helps other beaders find beadshop.com and all of our educational content. So we appreciate it. Thank you all, and I'll see you Friday with Janice. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.